Hi guys, welcome to the very final day for the fantasy roster predictions. And the last day today, we will be looking at some data and crunching some numbers to decide on which team to go for, or otherwise, what are the main mixed cards we could go for. So prepare a pen and paper. For myself personally, the approach that I'll go for is to bet the team that I would think will more likely win the lower bracket finals, and then the one who will also then play a second series in the grand finals. And for me, this will be Team Secret, and that's why all my cards will be on Team Secret. So here are the things that I will be sharing with you. I'll share with you which team I think will win the lower bracket and why, and then I'll share with you how to calculate your scores and maximize your score or adjust your strategy based on your current points. And last of all, I will touch a bit on your player cards to remind you which cards you should dust, as well as which card you should craft to decide on how to maximize the points you will get tomorrow. So without further ado, let's go in, and I'll first share with you how I think Team Secret will more likely win. Welcome back to my Excel sheet, and in this Excel sheet you can see here Team Secret and you can see Team Spirit. My predictions for the matches tomorrow would be that Secret can even 2-0 Spirit, and LGD versus Secret. This is my own hopefulness that I hope this is the year that Secret will win LGD, but all truth be told, I think that it may more likely be that LGD 3-1 or 3-2 Secret. Okay, so I think that Secret has a 65% chance to win Spirit, whereas Spirit has a 35% chance to win Secret. In fact, a 35% chance for Spirit to win Secret is already not bad. I used to would have give lower than 35% chance. In fact, I might have given 20% chance sometime back for a team like Spirit. But Spirit has been doing really well, especially players like their mid player and Collapse, who's their offlaner. They are always making very sick pickoffs, turning fights around and winning most 5v5s. They know how to play to their timings. They are a team that generally knows what to do, but I think what makes them scary is like they have very talented and good game sense player like Collapse, and they generally can capitalize on that to punish the enemy whenever they are slightly out of position and things like that. For Secret is kind of like an all-star team. They have good players, they have good drafting, they tend to win lanes, and they're also a team that are known to adapt, where they can change up their itemization and adjust their strategies based on how the enemy team drafted and how the enemy team is playing. So Secret is not a team that easily lose to anybody, and in fact if they win their lanes, they may be able to storm the opponent at time. So let's look at some notes that I wrote for Secret and Spirit. Spirit, initiation, focus, teamfight, focus. But so far, even in the group stage, so let me say first, they tend to win over teams that are less disciplined and maybe pick off easier. They seem to be more vulnerable to teams who are disciplined with a track record. Proof of that, they got 2-0 by teams like, you can see here, they got 2-0 by LGD, Secret and Vichy. LGD, Secret and Vichy all made it far in the main stage. They are all top teams who are quite disciplined. Okay, other observations, let's ignore this, is not so important. Spirit seems to be slightly better at pickoffs and winning fights, but in their match against LGD, they didn't look as hot. because they got too old and they didn't have any long games with LGD. Whereas for Secret, they managed to win one game from LGD so far, and in most of their games with LGD, the games are long. The last one that they had with LGD was even 50 plus minutes. Secret seems to win over more predictable teams with less crazy plays. The problem is Team Spirit can be less predictable and can make crazy plays that win fights. So Secret is kind of vulnerable to Team Escape players who can pull surprises, and it will be no surprise if Colette pulls a surprise. No pun intended. Even then, Secret should be better than Spirit at drafting and laning, and they may also be better at adapting in the game compared to Team Spirit. And so I would say that Secret would seem to have the edge as a whole, because they probably will have the better drafts and probably can win more lanes. They are also good at adapting based on the game state and game situation. But for Spirit, what their edge is that they are very good at team fighting and good at pick-offs. So even though Secret may get a goal advantage and lead, Team Spirit could still suddenly come back with some good plays. That is why I will give Team Spirit a 35% chance over Team Secret. So I would say that both Secret and Spirit are sort of counters to each other, where Secret may be vulnerable to teams with skilled players who pull surprise, but yet Spirit on the other hand seems to be vulnerable to good teams who are very disciplined like Secret. So they are kind of each other's kryptonite, but the final saves that we can look at to decide why Secret is better is that Secret won over Spirit so far in the group stage, and also for both Secret and Spirit who fought against LGD, only Secret managed to take a game from LGD and drag games longer. That's why I would say 65% chance Secret win tomorrow. So okay, now let's look at some scores for what happens if you bet on each team. If you are already among the top 90% and you just want to stay there, you can go with a mixed team. For the mixed team, the best players to choose are Yatoro and Matumberman, the two carries, because they are the highest scoring cores. And then for the mid, better to choose Nisha, because Nisha scores 17 points, which is much higher. And then Yapza is the best scoring support so far, followed by Miposhka from Team Spirit. So if you go with a mixed team, and it so happens that Team Secret win, you take the average points, and the Team Secret players play 3 games, you will get a total score of about 260. If you also go with this mixed team, and Team Spirit win, what will happen is that Yatoro and Miposhka will get more points, and you'll get an average of 220. So if you take both of these together and you multiply it by the win chances, the average score that you will get if you go with this mixed team is 246. Instead, if you choose the all-in strategy because you're desperate for more points, or you're a baller, or you're just really confident that one team will win, like for me, I'm confident that Secret will win, then this is what will happen. If you go all in on Secret and Secret win, you get 291 points. But if you go all in on Team Spirit and Spirit win, you get 275 points. In both cases where you go all in, you will score at least 30 points more than you score at least 30 points more. On the other hand, if you go all in and you lose, you will lose quite a lot of points. So either you get about 100 plus points if the team that you go all in lose, or you get 290 or 275 points if the team that you go all in wins, or if you want to play safe and you go for the average mix, you lose only about 30 points compared to people who go all in. So I think the question you can ask yourself is, can you afford to lose 30 points compared to other players who choose to go all in on a team? If the answer is yes, you can afford to lose 30 points, then maybe going with mixed team is the best choice. Okay, if you want to have the highest points than anybody and play and take a risk, then you can choose to go all in on secret like me. Lastly, I just want to quickly talk about maximizing your fantasy cards. So since it's the last day, decide on the 5 players that you will choose, right? Decide on these 5 players. Look at these 5 player cards. Let's say for my Yapzor, he has Team Fight, Observer, Ward Planted, and Stuns. Look at these 5 card bonuses. Are any of your player card bonuses not good? You can see whether your player card bonuses are not good by checking the points you get from them. These are the bonus points that I will get from each player. When I look at my player cards, let's say because I go all in on secret, I notice that my Zai has bonus for crit score, GPM, and chem stack. Zai doesn't have a lot of crit score or GPM, and he doesn't have a lot of chem stack. The one that I really need on Zai are kills, deaths, team fights, kills, death, team fight, and stuns. But my Zai card has no team fight, deaths, kills, or stuns. Because of this, and because he has the lowest average bonus points compared to the rest, this helps me to see that if I still have any dust left to craft a specific card, the card that I want to craft is for Zai, because my Zai fantasy card gives the lowest bonus. So do that for yourself as well. After you decide on the 5 players that you put, be it all secret, all spirit, or mix, look at these 5 cards that you have and see which one gives you the lowest point. When you identify that, craft the specific card that you still need if you still have 30 dust. Lastly, remember to dust all the cards that you don't need. So I dusted everything that I could dust, including cards from Team Spirit. So if you go all in on Secret, remember to dust Spirit. If you go all in on Spirit, remember to dust Secret. If you go with the mix, dust the rest. In the mix, you will not be choosing any offlaners, so it means you can dust Colettes and Zai. But for me, I will be dusting all of Spirit and all the other cards that I can afford to dust. The only teams that you should still have in full is one mistake. You can dust LGD too, because LGD will not be playing 2 series, so remember to dust LGD as well. The only case that you want to not dust LGD is because you love their cards, or you think that they will score the highest point somehow, even though they are only playing 1 series. But I don't think so, so I dust every other card other than Spirit. With that, I hope this helps. This is the end of my fantasy roster guide over the past 10 days, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I will be reviewing and looking at what other Dota content I can make, such as an interesting hero guide, interesting trends that I noticed in the meta. But I thank you so much for your support. I hope you enjoyed this analysis and this prediction so far, and I really thank you for your support once again. With that, like, comment, subscribe, and all the best for the grand finals day tomorrow.